Alright, listen up. Have you ever been wondering what's the difference between OKRs and KPIs? Well, I'm here to answer that for you. Sort of. Because what if I told you that the question itself was flawed? What if I told you that we've been asking the wrong question all along? I know this might come as a surprise to some of you, and I also know that probably some of you are halfway out of your chair ready to debate me. But hold up, wait until the end of the video to do that. Why should you even listen to me? I'm Ali. I've got a PhD in performance management and years of experience as a management consultant under my belt. And my biggest pet peeve, business buzzwords. So you won't find any of those here. Today we're breaking down the difference between OKRs and KPIs and how one is actually a component of the other. Shocking, I know. Now, I know everyone has heard about KPIs before and probably rolled their eyes at them too. Meanwhile, OKRs feel like this intriguing newcomer that everyone's trying to really figure out. So let's start by defining both clearly and simply. KPIs, or key performance indicators, are at their simplest important metrics that reflect achievement. A metric is anything that we can measure, and a KPI is basically a metric that matters. And what makes it matters? The objective it's tied to. So right off the bat, we can see that KPIs don't stand alone. They require a clear objective in order to be considered key. Think about the smartwatch. It tracks a dozen or even more metrics every second. Are all of these important to you? Probably not. Let's face it, most of them we don't even know what they mean. What's important depends entirely on your objective. So, for example, if you're using the smartwatch just to stay active, probably a metric like number of steps per day is all you need to be your KPI. But if your objective is to improve your fitness level, you'd look at more advanced metrics such as body age or VO2 max. Let's say you ski. If your objective is to ski faster, then speed becomes your KPI. But if you want to build endurance, then you will be looking at time on the slopes or even distance skied. Different KPIs depending on your objective. OKRs, or objectives and key results, on the other hand, is a framework, a structured and organized way to conceptualize an issue. In our case, it defines how performance is measured, managed, and improved. Importantly, it's not just about the measurement. The OKR framework provides a structure for performance management based on several pillars, such as innovation, ambition, ease of usage, collaboration, transparency, and agility. Simply put, OKRs are a dynamic goal and performance management framework that aligns teams around shared, clear objectives and measurable outcomes in the form of key results. Here's a simplified example, though it doesn't showcase all the pillars we've discussed before. Objective could be improving skiing to confidently navigate advanced terrain by season's end. The key results for this objective could be 10 black diamond runs completed without a stumble, 15% increase in average downhill speed without loss of control, and maybe zero falls on advanced terrain. Since you've made it this far, here's a fun fact, or at least what fun fact could be for a nerd like me. OKRs were invented way back in the early to mid 1970s, while the term KPI itself only came about at the end of the decade. So even though OKRs might seem like the shiny new toy on the block, they're really just a millennial Tamagotchi making a comeback. Back to the beginning, why is this question flawed in the first place? Because one cannot, or rather should not, compare a framework to the component of a framework. Comparing KPIs to OKRs is like comparing the drumsticks to the whole drum set. Are drumsticks important? Absolutely. Are they the whole show though? Not even close. It's like comparing a chapter to the whole novel. Yes, the chapter moves the story along, but it's not the whole narrative. And to put it in sitcom terms, saying KPIs are the same as OKRs is saying that Ross here is Friends. Sure, Ross had a role, debatably the most hated one, but the show needed Rachel, Monica, Chandler, Joey, and Phoebe, and most importantly, it needed the interactions between them. If you're still with me after this analogical deep dive and slight Ross slander, I'm guessing you get the point. So, how do we fix the comparison? We compare OKRs with other frameworks, the most well known ones being Balanced Scorecard and Management by Objectives, or MBOs, the one that directly inspired the OKR model. The last point I want to make in this video is that KPIs are not separated from OKRs, nor are they competing with them. In fact, KPIs are often part of the OKR system. I know this is where OKR purists might come after me, but hang on a second. Do you remember the initial definition of KPIs? Not sure? Here's a refresher. KPIs are the most important metrics that help us understand whether we're progressing towards an objective or not. Now, doesn't that sound like what key results do in the OKR framework? Of course, not all KPIs are key results, Only those KPIs that measure outcomes, not just activities, are eligible to be strong key results. But at their core, both terms try to answer the same fundamental question: how do we know we're achieving our objective? Here's where things become a bit more nuanced. I know, nobody likes nuance. Key results can go beyond KPIs in two ways. One, key results focus on outcomes. They track the impact or change you're aiming towards, not what you can do, only what you can influence. Two, key results can include non metrics deliverables, which KPIs by definition cannot. Let me give you an example. So your objective is write the best children book of the year. Measuring time spent writing, the number of errors, number of drafts, how many times your editor sent the manuscript back, those are process oriented metrics and can be contenders for KPIs, but not great key results though. The actual completion of the book, however, that could be a key result. It's an essential end result, even if it's not a measurable metric. Without the book, there's no achievement of the objective. Additional key results might include number of positive critic reviews, average reader satisfaction score, book sales, or revenue milestones. These last examples are metrics, and in KPI language, they'd also qualify as KPIs, but in OKRs, they're more than just isolated measures. They exist within the context of an objective, and they include the target directly inside the key result statement. TLDR. Metrics are the foundation. Naming is framework specific. Here's the one thing I want you to walk away with. Every performance framework is built on metrics, but each one uses a different label for the important ones. The most popular terms, key results and KPIs. And while OKRs contain metrics, or what is generally defined as KPIs by most users as part of the key results, the concept of key results is broader. It's not just about measuring something, it's about defining what success looks like as opposed to purely defining performance or the process to get to success. If you're interested in a deep dive, let's meet back next week and compare actual frameworks to see which one fits best. Spoiler, none of them are magical and each one works better under specific conditions, but more on that on the next video. In the meantime, like and comment on this video if performance still gives you mild existential dread. Thanks for hanging out!